Hi, my name is Wendy Ann Clark, and this is my channel Transformation, where I talk about how God desires that you be transformed into the image of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit. And here I bring teaching that I hope will encourage you to cooperate with the Holy Spirit and to be changed over time. And today I'm doing something just a little bit different. I'm doing a personal and a ministry update for my birthday, which was in mid-January. And I also wrote about this on my website, wendyclarkministries.com. So if you read the things that I wrote there, this might be familiar to you. It's just a birthday update from 2026. And another year has passed, and like many before it, it was a quick year. And a lot happened in it, but it went by really fast. And there were some big events. At the beginning of the year, our daughter Heather and her husband Phil had their first child. That's our first grandchild, Luke. And we flew to Marseille soon after he was born. And then Roy, my husband Roy, and I, along with our other daughters, Haley and Hannah, we took a trip to visit that little family again at the beginning of June. So we took 2 trips to France, flying standby, which is its own kind of adventure. And then my husband and I, we also took a trip to the Grand Canyon, and we attended the wedding of our niece Carly in Arizona. And we traveled to see a Christmas concert in Chicago, which was Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant and CeCe Winans, and that was a lot of fun. And I continued immunotherapy treatments for endometrial cancer, which I was diagnosed with and had surgery for back in March of 2023. So in 2025, I was still having those treatments, and where I am right now, I have 1 more treatment in March, and then I should be done. And at the same time, a friend of mine had a similar diagnosis as me at a similar time on a similar timeline and was going through chemo and things, and she chose to stop her cancer treatments, and she never really had her cancer gone. And she did just a little bit of immune therapy, but didn't seem to do much for her. And then this past year, she went to be with Jesus. So I don't really know how to process those 2 stories, like the similarities and differences in our journey. But they caused me just to lean in more heavily into Jesus and to trust more firmly. God has plans for me, and whatever they are, and however long a life I have or whatever's coming, God has plans for me. We moved to a new house again this year. Oh man, we weren't expecting to, because the owner of the house we were renting had assured us we were going to get to renew the lease. And then right at the last minute in Idaho, you have to say, 30 days before, whatever. At the very last minute, she said she changed her mind. So we hadn't packed, we hadn't planned, we hadn't found a place. And it was like, oh. So we've lived in 6 houses now in 11 years in this valley. And so in April, we moved. May, I guess we moved. It was unexpected. It was inconvenient. I had surgery that year, also a different surgery, and my husband had surgery, and both of us could not lift. Neither of us could lift boxes or move furniture, but God provided what we needed. We were able to hire movers to help us, and we had the help of many friends, and so we settled into a new house at the 1st of May in 2025. And we had closed the coffee house location at the end of 2024 when our 10-year lease came to an end, and the new lease did not look like it was something that we should sign up for. So we haven't been able to find a place to reopen the coffee house. We've continued to look, and we had the church in the coffee house. And so we moved church to our house, and then when we moved to this new house, it's a beautiful house. It has lots of room. And a pastor and his wife are little landlords, which is very nice. We see this as a very gracious gift from God. And right now is the right time. We're just meeting at the house for now. And we continue to look for a more neutral location where we might do more ministry things in the community, connect to our community, and have a coffee house again, do those sort of things. But we haven't found the right place, and we know God will provide the right place at the right time. But most of life Those were big things. Most of life is not made up of big events, but ordinary, everyday ones. They're interspersed with challenges and with celebrations. So more everyday for me is everyday meeting with God in the morning, as I've done for decades, studying through Isaiah this past year, and then beginning studying through Jeremiah and Proverbs, and rereading and reflecting on the little book, The Practice and the Presence of God, reading Dallas Willard's book, Renovation of the Heart, reading biographies. A couple of them were Mother Teresa and Lottie Moon. I read several novels by Charles Martin and too many Bible studies to name, many, many. Praying daily through a long list of prayer requests for family and friends and strangers. And I wrote articles and talks and filmed YouTube videos and listened to and watched personal testimonies of faith, many videos on apologetics. For Women's Bible Study, we worked through the Navigator's book, Growing Strong in God's Family. And then our Bible study group went through some growth. I had a consistent 2, occasionally 3, but a pretty consistent 2 people that became a pretty consistent 6 people, maybe 7 or 8. Something that God decided he was going to do, because I don't know how to get people to come to things. I continued preparing for and leading worship for our church worship service and cooking dinners. We have dinner at our church service every Saturday night. Every Sunday, I met with 2 groups of ladies at the jail for worship and for Bible study. And it's difficult to express how meaningful this is in my life. It's a very important part of my life. And to tell you all that God is teaching me through the experience, I'm really, really thankful for this opportunity. I've been going for 10 years now, minus the time in COVID when we weren't permitted to go. If you ever get the opportunity to serve in some way, and on the surface it looks like work or scary or overwhelming or whatever, don't be afraid. Step in. Don't miss amazing things that God would do if you just show up for him over and over and over again. Last year, at the first of the year, I chose the word new for a spiritual focus for the year, and I reflected on these 2 passages. One talks about remember not. That's Isaiah 43:18-19. Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And another one focuses on remember. Isaiah 46:9-10. Remember the former things of old, for I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times things not yet done, saying my counsel shall stand and I will accomplish my purpose. So remember not certain former things, the old way of doing things, getting stuck in a rut. God's going to do something new. But remember certain former things, and those are who God is, how he's worked in the past, and what he's promised he will do. So what new things did I encounter? A new grandson, a new home, new ideas, new friends, new visitors to church, new people deciding to stay, new ways of organizing church in a new location, new groups of ladies at the jail and expanding in those groups, new understandings about God's plans and God's purposes and God's ways. And I had to let go of my vision of the coffee house and of the house church. And I had to wait on God for what he wants to do next and how he wants to do it. We are still expecting that we'll have a new neutral ministry location to reach out to and connect with our community, and a version of the coffee house, but we're pretty sure it will not be what it was before. It's going to be a little bit different. We perceive that God's doing a new thing, and we don't fully know what that's going to look like. My word for this year, this new year, 2026, is rescue. And the verse that brings this word into focus for me is Proverbs 24:11. Rescue those who are being taken away to death. Hold back those who are stumbling to the slaughter. I see God's purpose for me is that I would do my part to reach out to rescue those who are lost and perishing, to act as an ambassador on God's behalf, and to call out loudly, be reconciled to God, and then to point to Jesus as the way of salvation. Here's how I see it. The door to the ark is open. The storm clouds are gathering. Only those who are going to enter into the way of salvation that God has provided are going to be saved. All those who seek to save themselves in some other way, they're going to be lost. There were no lifeboats floating around the outside of the ark. And when the time was right, God himself shut the door. So this year, I will focus on what it means to reach out and to rescue those who are perishing and to pull back from the edge those who are teetering over the cliff. I will focus on having a greater sense of the urgency of sharing the gospel and even more boldness and courage. In Ephesians 6:19 through 20, Paul says this, "And pray also for me, that words may be given to me in opening my mouth boldly to proclaim the mystery of the gospel. Pray that I may declare it fearlessly as I should." And now I'm 62. And I look forward to another year walking with Jesus and growing in knowledge and understanding and wisdom. Even though this was more of a personal ministry update, I hope you found it helpful or encouraging in some way. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like it, hit like, share it if you think somebody else might like it. Hit subscribe if you want to help me out on YouTube, and hit that notification button if you want to be notified when I post new content. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.